You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to Bunko Fugitive Detail. You get a call from another city to pick up a burglary suspect. You know the name he's using. You know where he's living. Your job, pick him up.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, June 4th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Bunko Fugitive Detail. My partner is Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Steve. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 9:42 a.m. when we got to the corner of Selma and Fountain. The Arizona Carlton Hotel.
Guess we checked over there, huh?
Yeah, you got the mug?
Yeah, right here. I'm awfully sorry, Mrs. Hartsfield. Yes, I know we say each room is air-conditioned. Well, yes, ma'am, but it is true. I know, ma'am, but the air conditioning is on full now. All right, ma'am. Yes, I'll send some right up. I'll be with you right away. Son, here, boy. Get the mic order up to Mrs. Hartsfield in 502 right away. Now, sorry to keep you waiting.
All right, sir.
What is it you wanted?
We're police officers, sir. Here's our identification.
There's nothing wrong, is there? Don't know what I'd do if anything else went wrong. The air conditioning unit went out this morning, making excuses. I don't know how much longer the ice water's going to hold out. What is it? What's wrong now?
Do you have a Mr. George Richmond registered here?
Probably gives his home address as in the desk, though. Richmond, let's see here. Wait a minute.
Sir?
How do I know you're what you say? Police department's always sending out circulars saying to be careful about this sort of thing. It's a respectable hotel, you know. How do I know?
Well, here's our identification again, sir. I showed it to you before.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Friday. How about yours?
Yeah, here you are.
Uh-huh. All right. Can't be too careful. Your own office says that, you know. Careful. Anybody can come in here with a badge.
Yes, sir. Now, if you just check the register for us, please.
Yeah, sure. Oh, yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Here he is. Richmond George, Modesto, California.
Is he here now?
No, checked out day before yesterday. Oh, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Registration desk. Yes, Mrs. Hartfield. Yes, ma'am. I know that's what we advertise. Well, yes, ma'am, but it's on the way up. No, ma'am. I sent the boy myself. Yes, ma'am. I'm sure he'll be there. All right, Mrs. Hartfield. Yes, ma'am. I may quit. Now, what was it you wanted with Mr. Richmond?
Oh, you said that he moved out, huh?
Yes, bag and baggage the day before yesterday.
Did he leave any forwarding address?
No, I talked to him when he left. Didn't say a word about where he was going.
Uh-huh. Was there anyone in the hotel he was especially friendly with? Anybody who might know where we can reach him?
No, kind of kept to himself. Nice fella. Sure tipped good. Kept to himself, though.
Uh-huh. Is there anyone around the place who might know where he was going? Bellboys, maybe the waitress in the coffee shop?
Oh, no, I hardly think so. He didn't eat here. Don't blame him.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Here's our card. If you hear anything from Mr. Richmond, we'd sure appreciate a call.
You bet. I'll give you a ring.
You got any mail while he was staying here?
No, nothing. Not even a phone call. Didn't use the room for anything but sleep. Real quiet. Good tipper, though.
Did he drive a car, do you know?
No, not that I know of. Say, come to think of it, you might check with Ernie.
Ernie?
Yeah, drives the cab, usually right out in front. He picked up Mr. Richmond one night. He might be able to tell you something.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. If anything comes up, appreciate that call.
Okay. Hope you get what you're looking for. Registration desk. Yes, Mrs. Hartfield.
Let's go, Frank. All right.
I know, ma'am, but the ice water's on the way up. I can't understand why it isn't there, but I am the manager.
Fellow out there might be him.
Yes.
Yeah. Excuse me a minute.
Yeah?
Your name, Ernie?
That's right. What can I do for you?
Police officers. We'd like some information.
Well, I got a permit to park here.
No, it's not that. We'd like to know if you remember picking up a George Richmond here.
Oh. Richmond, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Richmond. No, name doesn't make any bells ring. What's the guy look like?
You got those mug shots, Frank? Yeah. There you go.
Are you a cop, too?
Yes, sir. I'm an officer.
Yeah. You kind of look like one. Is this the guy?
Yes, sir. That's him. You remember picking him up?
Yeah, seems I've seen him before.
Yeah. Good tipper. Yeah, I picked him up, a couple days ago. Drove him downtown. Sure, downtown.
Remember where you took him?
Yeah, it was a couple days ago, like I said.
Yes,
I haven't got the slightest idea.
10:07 a.m. We continued to talk to the cab driver. He was sure that he'd picked up George Richmond on Sunday night, but he was unable to tell us where he'd taken the suspect. We drove back downtown and checked with the cab company. On the driver's way, though, we found that he'd made 3 pickups that night from the hotel on Fountain Avenue. The first stop listed was a large cafeteria in downtown Los Angeles. We checked with the cashier. She was unable to identify the mugshots of Richmond. The second stop was a large apartment out on Wilshire Boulevard. We checked the manager of the place, and she told us that she didn't recognize the name. We showed her the mugshots of Richmond, and she said that she thought she'd seen the man 2 weeks before. When she asked him what he wanted, he said that he was looking for a Miss Norman. Because of the way he'd acted, the landlady hadn't told him that there was a tenant by that name living in the place. She gave us the apartment number of the Norman woman, and Frank and I went up to see her. Want to try it again?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Police officers.
What?
Police officers. We'd like to talk to you.
Just a minute. And what's this all about?
Miss Margaret Norman.
Yeah, that's right. What do you want with me?
What if we could come in, please? Be a little better than talking out here in the hall.
Yeah, I guess so. Come in.
Thank you. My name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith. Pleased to meet you, ma'am.
Yeah. Hi.
You alone here, Miss Norman?
Yeah, I just got up. Have to excuse the way the place looks, kind of messy.
Yes, ma'am.
Mind if I put on some coffee? I'm not going to be able to answer any questions before I have a cup of coffee.
We go right ahead, ma'am.
What is it you want to see me about?
You know a man named Richmond?
Richmond?
Yes, ma'am. George Richmond.
Why'd you ask that? What's he done?
We'd just like to know if you know him, do you?
Yeah, I know. What do you guys want him for?
We'd like to talk to him, Miss Norman.
Uh-huh. Don't want to tell me what it's about, huh?
Well, it'll be better if we talk to him.
Yeah. Either one of you got a cigarette?
Yes, ma'am. Here you go. Match?
Thanks. You know, there's no love lost between me and George.
Is that right?
I bet there isn't, lousy bum. Regular drugstore cowboy. Takes a girl out for dinner one lousy night and a cheap dinner. Figures he owns her.
You know where he is now?
No, I haven't got the slightest idea. If I did know, I'd sure tell you. Bet I would. I'd like to see him get his way he treated me.
Do you know any of his friends? Anyone who might know where he is?
I don't think he's got a friend. At least I never met any of them.
Does he drive a car, do you know?
No, not him. Always took a cab. Used to kill me. Anywhere we went, he'd take a cab. One lousy block and he took a cab. Likes to be a sport. Always tipping big. Regular drugstore cowboy.
Mm-hmm. When did you see him last?
Oh, it's been a couple of weeks ago. Not much, anyway. Last time I saw him. Don't care if I never see him again where he acted. I thought he was going to kill me.
Ma'am?
Went out to dinner and we got back here. He'd been drinking a lot. Got real nasty. I told him he better be going. You know, it was late and all.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, like I said, it was late and he got real nasty. Started yelling at me. Called me all sorts of things. I'm not going to let any man say things like that to me, so I told him to get out. I'd never want to see him again. One lousy dinner and he thought he owned me.
Mm-hmm. Will you go ahead, Miss Norman?
Well, he hauled off and hit me. Right there in the hall. Hit me as hard as he could. Almost broke my jaw. Well, you know, I let out a scream and he beat it. Caused such a commotion I had to move.
Then this didn't happen here, did it?
No, place over on Vermont. I moved the next day.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you meet Richmond?
At the club. Hey, you got another cigarette?
Yeah. Here you go. Match?
Thanks.
What club's that, ma'am?
Where I work. In Green Lantern, downtown. I'm the cigarette girl. I met him there. He came in one night. Acted real big. Asked me if I'd have dinner with him. As it happened, I didn't have an engagement that night, so I said yes. Well, we kind of went together for a while.
I see.
Sure hope you get him. A real bad guy. The way he treats women. Terrible. You say, wait a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
I know someone who might be able to tell you where he is.
Who's that, ma'am?
A fellow named Hank. He used to hang around the club. I saw George talk to him at the bar once in a while.
Well, do you know where you can find this fella, Hank?
No, but I can tell you where his girlfriend lives. That help?
Yes, ma'am. Well,
Place over on 3rd out near Fairfax.
do you know his full name, ma'am?
Gee, I gotta think about that. Let's see. Jeanette, that's the girl. Jeanette introduced him as Palmer. That's it, Hank Palmer. I don't know about him, though.
What's that, Miss Vaughn?
He's a real mean one. Kind of quiet, not like George. George likes to shoot his mouth off, but Hank is quiet. He's trouble, though.
Ma'am?
Well, one night we went up to Jeanette's for a couple of drinks. Hank took off his coat. That's why I say he's rough.
Yeah.
Sure, carries a gun.
1:45 p.m. We got the description of Hank Palmer, and then Frank and I drove back to the city hall. We ran the name and description through R&I, but we got no make. We sent the name to George Blairton, CII, up at Sacramento. We got a communication off to Washington asking them for information on Palmer. We also checked the name of Palmer's girlfriend through our records, but we got no information. We contacted Captain Steed and arranged for a stakeout to be placed on the apartment of Palmer's girlfriend, Jeanette Allen. 2 days went by. Palmer and Richmond failed to make an appearance. We talked to Jeanette Allen, but she couldn't supply us with any information as to the whereabouts of the two men. Descriptions of the men were broadcast. Informants were questioned. We contacted the Modesto Police Department, and they sent us all information on the places Richmond was known to frequent while he was in Los Angeles. The kickback from Sacramento and Washington gave us no new information on Richmond, but Washington had him listed as having 2 arrests for armed robbery and ADW in the East. Another week passed. The stakeouts on Jeanette Allen's apartment continued. No sign of either of the men. Sergeant Al Panoges of the Bunko Fugitive Detail worked with us in trying to trace their movements. On Saturday, June 15th, we got word from an informant that Richmond and Palmer had been seen in town. We checked with the stakeout at the apartment, but they'd seen nothing of the two men. Frank, Al Panoges, and I drove out to relieve the stakeout.
Hey, Panoges. Yeah, Frank. Sure hot in this room, isn't it? Air just laying there. Yeah. Paper says it's the hottest June 15th on record.
Hey, Miss Allen.
Yes, Sergeant?
Now, you haven't heard from Palmer at all since he got back, is that it?
No, not a word. I don't really believe he's in town. I'm sure if he was, he'd look me up. Never done this before.
Uh-huh.
Say, would it be all right if I got a glass of water, miss?
Sure, help yourself right out in the kitchen.
Thanks. How about you, Joe? Want some?
No, thanks.
Al? Yeah. Joe?
Yeah?
Cab stopping out in front. Man getting out. I see one of them. Guy's wearing an overcoat. On a day like this?
You coming in here, Al?
Yeah. Yeah, cab's pulling away.
Okay. You want to take that side of the door, Frank?
Right.
You better go into the bedroom, Miss Allen.
You think there's going to be some trouble?
Well, it depends on the way he wants it.
Oh, well, I guess you know best. I hope not. All I need is to have to move again.
Somebody in the hall. He's stopping. All set?
Right. Who are you? You Hank Palmer?
Yeah, so what?
Police officer.
Lousy bastard, Joe. He's got a gun.
I'll get him.
All right, hold it up, Palmer. Stop or I'll fire. Get away from me, cop! Hold it up, Palmer. All right. Come on, pull out of here. Come on, go.
Get in the call, Frank. Gray Mercury. License number is 1S69105.
Right. Better call an ambulance, too.
What?
Panoges. He's hurt bad.
June 15th, 8:40 p.m. Sergeant Al Panoges was removed to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. His condition was listed as critical. The bullet had entered his chest and was still embedded below the left lung. His family was notified, and after Frank and I got out the APB on Palmer, we drove by to pick up Mrs. Panoges. We dropped her off at the hospital, and Frank stayed with her. Palmer's description was put out, as was the description of the car he'd commandeered to get away. I ran the number through our DMV and found that it was registered to a William Evans, 1627 East Poinsettia, Hollywood. Along with Sergeant Ullery, I checked out the address. Mrs. Evans told us that she hadn't seen her husband for several hours, but when he left the house, he had told her that he was going to a lodge meeting. We got a description of him and got out a local and an APB on him. I called the hospital and found that they'd operated on Panoges, but that they were unable to remove the bullet. His wife collapsed. Frank had her taken home where she was cared for by their family doctor. 12:46 a.m. A radio car out in Chatsworth picked up Evans. He told them that Palmer had forced him at gunpoint to drive him to the valley. There he'd forced Evans from the car and driven off. Evans couldn't give the officers any idea of where the suspect might have been headed. 2 hours later, the car was found abandoned on Spring Street. It was placed under surveillance, and a dragnet of the downtown area was started. Metro Division assigned 20 teams of men to make a block-by-block search of the vicinity. The details at the bus stations and at the airports were alerted. 4:12 a.m. I got a call from Frank, and I drove over to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital.
Hi.
How's it going?
Not good. Just saw the doctor.
Well, how's Al? He just died.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
When an officer is first accepted by the police force, he spends 13 weeks at the police academy. In that period, he learns the basic fundamentals of being a peace officer. On graduation from the academy, he is assigned either to traffic or to a tour of duty in one of the city jails. Then, depending on his aptitude and the way he conducts himself in the field, he's checked on for possible transfer to one of the detective divisions as an investigator. By the time a police officer gets his assignment to the detective bureau, he's become a professional troubleshooter. He knows how to handle himself, and he knows how to treat the lawbreaker. He's on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and he wears a gun. When a hoodlum shoots a police officer, he's showing society that he has no regard for the law, and at the same time, he is announcing that he will not hesitate to kill an unarmed citizen. Sergeant Alfred Pinoges has been a policeman 14 years. He'd begun in traffic, and then had been transferred to the juvenile division. From there, he went to homicide detail, and then to bunco fugitive division. He was a professional peace officer, and he'd been murdered. He gave his life to protect the people who paid his salary, the taxpayers. His killer was still at large, and we had to find him. The search of the downtown area was intensified, but it netted us nothing. Frank and I checked the immediate area around the abandoned car. In talking to the people in the vicinity, we found a newsboy who had seen Palmer park the car. He said he was unable to tell us where the man had gone, but he said that he thought he might have gone into a bar near the corner. We checked the place, but the bartender was unable to give us any information. 2 days passed. We rechecked the known hangouts of the two men. Neither of them had been seen. Tuesday, June 18th, we got word that Palmer had been seen entering an apartment house on South Alvarado. 10:14 a.m. Frank and I drove over to talk to the landlady.
Palmer and Richmond. No, I don't think I know them.
What if you take a look at these pictures, Miss Holbrook, see if you recognize them?
Sure.
Yeah.
He's a mean one. Haven't seen him, though. This one.
Ma'am?
This one. I know him. Which one's he?
Well, that's Richmond.
No, that's not his name. Told me it was Reichman. Said it was John Reichman. Lived up in 206 Athens Front.
See him now, ma'am?
No, he went out this morning early. First time in a couple of days he went out early.
You expect him back soon?
Oh, I don't know right off. Might be. I don't generally know when they're coming back. Don't keep tabs on them, you know.
Them?
Yeah, tenants. A nice bunch, most of them quiet. Had a full place last 2 years.
Uh-huh. How long is this, Reichman?
Yeah, that's it, John Reichman.
How long has he been here?
Oh, he's kind of new. He took over the room from a friend of his.
Yes, ma'am. Does he have any friends in the building? Anyone that he sees quite a bit of?
Well, now, there's a girl in 306. He sees quite a bit of her.
Oh, who's that, Miss Holbrook?
That'd be Barbara McIntyre. Nice girl. Dancer. Works downtown at one of the clubs.
She in now, would you know?
Well, she should be, yes. Hardly ever gets up much before noon. Hardly ever. He works late, you know.
Yes, ma'am. Does Richmond drive a car?
Richmond? Oh, dear, now. Well, I don't know. I don't think so. Seems like he's always coming home in a cab. Comes in at all hours. I don't think he's going to last here.
Why you say that, ma'am?
Because I don't think he will, that's all. Plays the radio late, makes noise, you know. Then there was a fight. The girl didn't want to do anything about it, but I certainly think she should have.
Oh, what's that about, ma'am?
Oh, one night, let's see, it must have been about a week ago. Reichman or Richmond or whatever his name is came home, and he was, well, he'd been drinking quite a bit, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, he went up to the girl's apartment, and they had an awful brawl. Screaming and yelling, an awful brawl. I went up and asked her if there was something I could do, but she yelled through the door and said no, that everything was all right. Of course, it wasn't.
Ma'am?
Well, the next day, the poor thing had a black eye that just wouldn't stop, all bruised up. Had a bandage right here on her forehead. Must have hit her awful hard. No, sir, I don't think he's going to last.
Uh-huh. And you're pretty sure that you haven't seen this other man, though, eh?
Well, let me see that picture again.
Mm-hmm. This one?
No, I'm positive. I never saw him. Of course, that don't mean he wasn't here.
Ma'am?
Well, like I said, I don't pay much attention to them. They pay their rent, and I don't bother them. They come and go as they please. Say, what do you want them for? Is it about that, mister?
Richmond?
Yeah, is it about him beating up that poor girl?
No, ma'am.
I should have known about him. No, sir, he ain't going to last long around
I
here.
wonder if we could see his room, Mrs. Holbrook.
Well, I guess it's all right. I'll get the key.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
Here you are. It's right up the stairs and then to the front of the hall. It's on the right at the far end of the hall.
Well, we'd rather you'd come up with us, ma'am.
Oh, well, all right. Glad to help. The way he must have beat that girl, a fiend, that's what he is. Sure isn't going to last long around here.
No, ma'am, it sure isn't. Before we looked at Richmond's apartment, we tried to check with his girlfriend. We found that she wasn't in. The manager let us into her apartment, but we found no indication where she might have gone. Then we went downstairs and searched Richmond's place. He wasn't there. The landlady stood by while we searched the place. In a closet, we found a small arsenal, a gas grenade, a sawed-off shotgun, and 2 boxes of shells. There were also several revolvers, along with over 150 rounds of ammunition. We called the office and arranged for a stakeout on the building. Sergeants Ullery, Gerard, Gilmore, and Miller came out. Gerard and Gilmore covered the front entrance. Ullery and Miller were stationed at the back of the building, and Frank and I covered Richmond's room. The residents of the apartment were warned to stay inside their rooms and to keep their doors locked. 10:30 p.m. There was still no sign of the suspects. We waited. 11 o'clock, 11:15, midnight.
Joe?
Yeah.
Looks like it might be them. Cab pulling up in front.
How about Gerard and Gilmore?
No, can't see him from here. Yeah. Looks like Palmer and Richmond. They got the girl with him.
Where is she?
She's walking between them. Makes it tough.
Yeah. Well, I won't try to take him on the street this way.
Coming in the building. They should be here pretty quick.
It figures if they're coming here.
Upstairs. Bill's apartment.
Sounds like it. What if they went in with her?
We'll just have to wait.
Wait a minute. Somebody outside there in the hall.
There.
Hold it.
I don't feel right, I tell you. It's too quiet. Something's up.
All right, Mitchell, let's hold it.
Come, George, read it!
I'd give it up, Palmer.
They made the street. No more Gerard could get him. Get that car, Joe. Let's go. Looks like they're next door. You want to cover me while I try to get over there?
All right, take it easy.
Right.
You all right, Frank?
Right.
All right, I'm coming over.
I'll cover you.
You see Gilmore and Gerard?
Yeah, behind the Buick over there.
Come on out of there. Richmond, Palmer, come on. Throw the guns out.
You come in and take a cop.
Give it up, Richmond. You're at a dead end. There's no way out of there.
And we'll make one.
They're coming out, Joe.
Okay, I quit. You got Richmond, I quit. Now don't shoot anymore. Please don't shoot anymore. You won't shoot anymore, will you please?
Throw that gun out here. Come on.
All right. Here it is. I'm throwing it out. Now don't shoot anymore, please.
All right, I'll check Richmond. All right.
I haven't got his gun. I gave it to you. I'm hurt. Can't you see that? I'm hurt bad.
I told Gilmore to call the ambulance. Richmond's dead. How about this one? Well, he's hit. I don't know how bad.
I should have known not to kill a cop. I would have been like this if I didn't kill that cop. I didn't mean to. I got scared. That's all, scared. You can understand that, can't you?
Yeah, you want to shake him, Frank?
Yeah.
Watch it, Frank. He's got another gun. You all right? Yeah. Palmer? Palmer.
I'll check him.
How about it?
He's dead. Look here, Joe.
What's that?
He had these in his pockets.
Must be 50 or 60 rounds of ammunition there.
Yeah. Doesn't look like he was ready to quit.
He was ready. The story you have just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On July 26th, an inquest was held in the coroner's office in and for the county of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that inquest. At the coroner's inquest, it was found that the deaths of George Thomas Richmond and Henry Donald Palmer were justifiable homicide. It was found that they were armed and were killed while resisting arrest. just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Joyce McCluskey, Paul Richards. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield is best for you. First cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to bunco detail. For the past year, a confidence man has been cheating women in your city. You finally get a lead on him. Your job, get him. Tonight, I have a new report for you. A most important one, too. Because when you're asked to try a cigarette, you want to know, and you ought to know, what that cigarette has meant to people who smoke it all the time. After a full year of observation, a medical specialist was given a group of Chesterfield smokers thorough examinations every 2 months for the full year. Reports no adverse effects to their nose, throat, or sinuses from smoking Chesterfield. More and more men and women all over the country are finding out every day that Chesterfield is best for them. Enjoy your smoking. Try Chesterfield today. They're best for you. Much milder, with an extraordinarily good taste.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, February 12th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of bunco detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Steve. My name's Friday. We were at the Armstrong Thomas department store cafeteria, and it was 3:14 p.m. when I got back to the table. Here, Joe. Let me give you a hand. Oh, thanks. Here you are, Miss Terrence.
Thank you.
I wonder if you'd tell us what this is all about now, ma'am.
Surely. Sorry you had to wait, but I thought it might be better if we talked up here.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you pass the sugar, please?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Here you are.
Well, it's not a pretty thing. I don't know how I could have been so foolish. But I guess when you get to be my age and you haven't got anything, almost any attention makes you forget.
Yes, ma'am. How'd you first meet this man, Benton?
I saw him first at a musicale. I met him very briefly that night. He called me the next day, said that he wanted to see me again. Well, I told him that I didn't think it'd be proper, but he insisted, so that night we had dinner together. He seemed so nice, I still can't believe it.
Yes, ma'am.
Such a wonderful time. I didn't think anybody could be so happy. We ate at a wonderful little place down at the beach. Then we went for a long drive and listened to the music on the radio. Just beautiful. The way the ocean looked, all moonlight and all.
Mm-hmm. When'd you see him again, ma'am?
Not until he left. He'd call a couple of times a day. It got a little embarrassing. The girls at the store here got to kidding me about it, but I didn't care. Then he told me he wanted to marry me. I couldn't believe it. So wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
Then one day he told me that he was going to have to take a business trip up north.
When was that? Do you remember, ma'am?
I guess it was about 3 weeks ago, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, please.
Well, he left. I went down to the station and saw him off. He kissed me and said that when he got back, we'd be married. We were going over to Las Vegas on our honeymoon. Wonderful plans. Wonderful. And then I heard from him, and he got to San Francisco. He called me from the hotel and said that he'd lost his wallet on the train. He told me he'd lost everything. All his money, identification, everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he asked me for the $100. I didn't think that anything was wrong, so I sent it to him.
Where'd you send it, ma'am?
To his hotel.
Did you hear from him at all after that, ma'am?
Not a word. At first, I thought that maybe he was just busy. I did think it was kind of funny that he wouldn't say something about getting the money I sent, but not a word. Then I got worried.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
Finally, I called the hotel, and they told me that he'd checked out. I figured that maybe he was back in town and wanted to surprise me. So I called his apartment. The landlady told me that he had left a couple of weeks before, that he didn't leave any forwarding address.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't know what to think. I didn't want to believe that he'd just used me, but there didn't seem to be anything else to think.
Yes, ma'am.
Then, of course, it was only $100. Seems that if he'd wanted to rob me, he could have asked for more. I still don't believe it, even when I know it's true.
Yes, ma'am. Now, I wonder if you could give us a description of the man.
Yes, I can do that. Let's see. He was tall,
About how tall, ma'am?
over 6 feet, maybe 6 feet 2. He had blonde hair, kind of wavy.
About how much would you say he weighed, Miss Terrence?
I'd just be guessing, but I'd say about 190 or so.
Let's see. I wonder if you'd be kind enough to come down to the city hall and look at some pictures for us.
You think you might have one of him?
Possible, ma'am. Maybe it'd make you feel a little better to know that you're not the only woman that this Benton has taken. There have been quite a few.
I guess I knew that. Even if I didn't want to believe it, I guess I knew it was just a confidence game. Such a cruel thing, though, to use a person's loneliness to rob them.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
When you get along in years and you haven't got anything to hold on to, little attention and affection makes you forget everything else. Nothing else seems to matter.
Yes, ma'am. I guess that's the way they figure it. Frank and I had been looking for Jonathan Benton for the past year. During that time, he'd taken approximately $37,000 from women in the Los Angeles area. His method of operation was to answer the ads in the personal columns of the daily papers. He'd give the woman a whirlwind courtship, then under the pretext of having to clean up some business before marriage, he'd leave town. He'd call the next day and give them the story about losing his wallet and identification. He'd ask them for $100. This in itself was to throw off the suspicions of the victim. In the event that they suspected that they were being taken in a racket, $100 was small enough so that their fear would answer about 20 to 30 of these ads at a time. And the request for money would hit all of the suspects at once. We'd had several complaints lately, and there was no way of knowing how many women were being taken and were too embarrassed to report it to the authorities. 4:30 p.m. We drove Miss Terrence back to the city hall and had her check the mug books. She was unable to give us an identification, however. Another month passed. During that time, we received 14 more complaints. In all instances, the description of the suspect matched that of Jonathan Benton. All available sources of information were checked. Bulletins had been gotten out carrying his description and the name he used. No result. On Wednesday, March 25th, we got a call that a man answering Benton's description had placed an ad in the personal columns of one of the daily papers. He'd used the name of Thomas Conan. The clerk at the ad counter gave us his address, and at 5:32 p.m., Frank and I went out to talk to him.
Yeah?
You Thomas Conan?
Yeah, that's right. What can I do for you?
Police officers would like to talk to you.
Oh, sure, come on in. Always glad to talk to the law.
This is my partner, Frank Smith.
How do you do, Mr. Smith?
How do you do?
If you boys will come on in, I'll shut the door.
Thank you.
Now, what's this all about?
Well, sir, did you put this ad in the paper?
Now, let me see. Texas cowman desires to meet petite young lady, object companionship. Spelled everything right, Dad. Yes, sir, that's mine. I wrote it all myself.
How long you been in Los Angeles?
Well, now, let's see. Got in on the bus last Tuesday. That'd make a week and a day.
Uh-huh. What brings you out here?
Well, I guess you could say it's kind of a business trip. Got a little tired of the same faces back home, so I thought I'd just see what the rest of the country looked like. What little there is of it. I'm from Texas, you know. Amarillo. Yeah. What's all this about, anyway? Some law I broke?
No, it's about that ad.
Oh, you found out, huh?
Beg pardon?
Oh, you found out about me saying I was a cattleman. That's it, ain't it?
What do you mean?
Well, now, I didn't mean no harm. I do have a couple milk cows on the place. A Holstein and a Guernsey. They're real nice, too. Just that I was so darn lonesome, I kind of thought this might be a way to meet some nice gal. I didn't mean no harm. You can see that, can't you?
Yes, sir, I guess so. Wonder if you'd mind taking a ride with us, sir?
Well, I should say not. Always happy to go along with the law. Where you figure to go to?
We'd like you to meet somebody.
Well, now that's right. Nice of you. Got some gal you'd like me to meet, huh?
Well, it's not exactly that, sir.
Well, it don't matter none. I got nothing to do anyhow. Just sitting here wondering if I get any replies to the ad.
All right, sir. If you wouldn't mind, let's go.
Not at all. I'll get my hat. Don't hardly feel conspicuous in this hat at all.
Is that right?
Yep. Kind of thought people might make something of it, but they hardly even notice it. Had two little kids come up today, ask for my autograph. Guess they figured I was a movie star. Made me feel real good, too. Then I wrote my name for them. They didn't know who I was. That didn't make no mind to them. They just thanked me and went on about the business. Right nice little folks they was.
Yeah. Well, let's go.
Sure. Real nice people here in L.A. Real nice. Haven't met a bad one yet.
Well, you haven't been here long. We got 'em. 5:40 p.m. We drove Thomas Conant downtown and had a car go out and pick up Miss Terrence. While we talked to Conant in the interrogation room, she walked by the open door and looked in at the suspect. She told us that he was not the man who'd victimized her. She was returned to her home, and after Conant had been checked through R&I, he was released. The next morning, Frank and I ran down a tip from an informant, but it led us nowhere. 10:18 a.m., we checked back into the office.
You get the latest bulletin from San Francisco, Joe?
Yeah, I looked it over this morning. We checked out the hotel Benton was staying at. He checked out of there. They haven't seen him since.
Well, that means he's probably back here in town, huh?
Well, if he is, we should start hearing about him again pretty soon. I'll get it. Bunko Friday. Who? Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, Miss Terrence, I remember. Yes, now, where was that? Would you give me that again? Yes, ma'am. 48 Vine. Uh-huh. Yes, that's right, ma'am. We'll get in touch with you. Right. Thank you very much. Bye.
Grace Terrence?
Yeah, she just saw Benton.
Where?
Went into an apartment out on Vine Street. 10:41 a.m. Frank and I got to the apartment house on Vine Street. We talked to the landlord, and he told us that a man answering the suspect's description was registered in apartment 4B. He was registered under the name Jonathan Benson. He told us that this Benson had just moved in and paid his first month's rent in advance. He'd said that he was just going to be in town for a short time, and that in the event that he moved out before his month was up, he expected no refund. Frank and I went up to the fourth floor and knocked on the door.
Yeah?
You Jonathan Benson?
Who are you?
Police officers want to talk to you.
What about? Might be better if we talked inside.
Maybe I don't want you in my...
All right, now, mister, you get your hat. We want to talk to you downtown.
What for?
Come on, get your hat.
Just a minute. I think maybe there's been some kind of mistake here. Just tell me exactly what it is you're looking for. I'm sure we can work
Come
it
on,
out.
mister. Quit stalling. Get your hat, will you?
Come on in. I'll get my hat.
I'll get it for you. In this closet?
Yeah, the gray one. You sure you got the right man?
Looks that way.
Mm-hmm. No way to work this out.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I don't even know why you want me to go with you. Seems you could fill me in on that.
Got some people we'd like to have you meet.
Who?
You'll see when we get there.
Here's your hat. Come on, let's go.
These guys sure think you're the Gestapo, coming in here dragging a private citizen out of his house.
If you haven't done anything wrong, you got nothing to worry about then, have you?
That's not the point. I don't like it. Coming in here and take me downtown so a lot of stupid old broads can look at me.
Who said we wanted women to look at you?
You did.
No, we said we wanted you to meet some people.
Must have misunderstood, huh?
Yeah, I guess you did.
No way we can work this out, huh?
There's no way. Now, come on.
Oh, just a minute. I want to be sure I got my key. I don't want to be locked out.
Don't worry about it.
What do you mean?
You might not be coming back. Frank and I took Jonathan Benson downtown. We ran him through R&I, but we got no identification. His fingerprints were rolled and checked, but they didn't make him. Miss Terrence was called and asked to come down to the city hall to try to identify the suspect. 2:30 p.m. We took him to the interrogation room.
You ever use the name Benton?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
You ever use any other alias?
Why should I?
You tell us.
Now, look, why don't you come off it? Tell me what this is all about.
You told us you just got into town, is that right?
Yeah, I've been here about a week.
Where'd you come from?
Up north.
Where up north?
San Francisco.
You live up there, do you?
Most of the time, yeah.
Most of the time. What's that mean?
Just that. Most of the time I live in San Francisco. That hard for you guys to understand?
What line of work you in?
I'm a salesman.
Yeah, what do you sell?
Whatever people want to buy.
What are you selling now?
Nothing right now. That's why I'm here. I'm looking for a deal.
You know a woman named Terrence, Grace Terrence?
I don't think so. Might. Why?
We'd like to know.
Hey, maybe I'm wrong about all of this, but it seems to me that I had to be booked, that you had to let me go. They changed that law?
No, that law's still good.
Then let's stop horsing around. I got a lot of things I want to do. Fill me in on this and then let me out of here.
All right. There's been a confidence man working in the L.A. area, been taking money from women. Gives them a big pitch about wanting to marry him, and then he hits them up for $100 and leaves them.
Sounds like a good racket.
He's taking a lot of money from people who haven't got it to spare.
Offhand, I'd say a tough luck.
Offhand, we'd say you're wrong.
The way you look at it. Where do I fit into this little fantasy?
You look good for the guy who's been pulling the deal.
Me?
That's right.
You guys are flipping.
Description matches.
So I look like another guy.
Everything else about you checks out.
So you figure you made me for the jobs, huh?
That's what we figure.
Which way's the gas chamber? Oh, come off it, fellas. You guys know you're trying to hang a bad rap on me. You know it, and so do I. Now, let's call the whole thing off. I can get out of here, and you can get to the peanut.
I'll get it.
Hello, Miss. They told me I could see you here.
Oh, yes, yes. Won't you come in, please?
Hello, Jonathan.
What?
Why'd you do it, Jonathan? Why? If you wanted the money, you could have asked for it. I'd have given it to you. You didn't have to lie about what you thought.
Place is full of them loonies.
Is this the man, Miss Terrence?
Yes, Sergeant, that's him.
All right, how about it, Benson?
I don't know what she's talking about. What's this bit with that's him? Loonies jumping with
All right, now, Benson, I've had enough of that. Now, come off it. You've just been identified. We got a lot more of them that we can have here. I think they'll identify you, too.
Why, John? Why?
Oh, get her out of here. One thing I can't stand is a woman bawling. Something comes along they can't figure out right away, they got to bawl. Anything comes along, they got to cry. I'm sick of it.
All right, ma'am. Maybe it'd be better if you waited in our office.
Yes, Sergeant. Still don't know why he did it. Why he took this way to get the money.
I took this way because it was the easy way. You broads are all alike, every last one of you. Let me get a few things straight first. You say I took $100 from you, is that right?
Yes.
All right. Now, I want you to think about this and think real careful. Didn't I say that I wanted to borrow the money? Isn't that what I said, borrow?
Yes, that's what you said.
Did I say that I'd pay the money back in any certain time?
I don't know.
Well, you think real good. You'll remember that I didn't. I just said that I'd pay you back. That's all. I didn't say when.
I guess I don't care.
There you are. Is it any crime to borrow money from a friend? I borrowed the money from her. I'll pay it back.
You said you wanted to marry me. You said you loved me.
Oh, come off it, Sarah. You got no beef. You got the soft light and the romantic music. You got it all. Look at you. Take a good look. Who'd want to marry you? Here, just a minute. Here. Here's $100 I borrowed. I want to pay you back. I got $100 worth of laughs from you. That much easy. Here's your dough. Now go home and have a good cry. I wouldn't marry you if you were the last woman on earth.
That's enough of that, Benson.
You're not just kidding. This old harpy with romantic ideas. What a laugh. She thinks anybody want to marry her, and she's a loony, too.
I didn't think anybody could be this mean. I didn't think anyone could be this cruel. I don't believe it.
You got no choice. You knew it all along. Thanks for the laughs.
Come on, Miss Terrence, please.
Imagine that old bag really thinking I'd marry him.
Yeah.
Real laugh. Well, anyway, she got her dough back. I said I'd pay her back. I did. You check with the rest of them. I'll tell you the same thing. I borrowed the money, that's all. I can't help it if they thought something else. I can't help it, Connor. Come on, let's get this over with. I want to get out of here.
Yeah.
You look upset, Con. Don't be. It won't prove anything. That's the way it
I
is.
got something for you, Benson.
Is that right?
Yeah. Someplace, sometime, you're going to make a mistake.
Is that right?
Yeah, and when you do, we're going to lean on you, and we're going to lean hard.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Chesterfield Regular, Chesterfield King Size. The first cigarette to give you premium quality either way you like 'em. This means that King Size Chesterfield contains tobaccos of better quality and higher price than any other King Size cigarette. Chesterfield is first to name all its ingredients, ingredients that make the best possible smoke. And Chesterfield gives you this full year's scientific report. No adverse effects to the nose and throat of a group smoking only Chesterfield. So enjoy your smoking. Change to Chesterfield today. Much milder, with an extraordinarily good taste.
We had 12 of the victims of the confidence man look at Benson. All of them gave a positive identification, but verified his story that he'd borrowed the money from them. 4:25 p.m. Frank and I got in touch with the district attorney's office and talked with them. What Benson had said was true. In borrowing the money or in saying he was borrowing it, he'd committed no violation of the law. We had to release him from custody. A month passed. During that time, we'd heard nothing more from the suspect. He'd stopped working the Dodge in the Los Angeles area. We contacted the San Francisco authorities and informed them of what had happened. They said that they'd be on the lookout for Benson. During the next 2 weeks, Frank and I worked on a ring of bunco artists that were working the obituary columns. On June 16th, we got a call from Burglary Division that they'd gotten a report of a theft, and talking to the victim, they'd gotten the name Jack Bentley. They checked the files on him and found that it could be Jonathan Benson. The victim, a Miss Betty Lindsay, came to our office to talk to us.
I don't know why they thought that I should see you. It was just a plain theft.
The officers in burglary said that they thought we might be interested in the thief, Miss Lindsay. I wonder if you'd tell us about him.
Lousy crumb. This guy's a real schnook. Schnook of the first water.
Yes, ma'am. What's his name, please?
Called himself Bentley, Jack Bentley. What a bum.
What do you look like, Miss Lindsay?
Tall and blonde. Kind of nice-looking guy if you went for the type. I did. Now I got troubles. Oh, what a no-good bum.
Wonder if you'd take a look at some of the pictures we've got here. See if he's in these.
Sure. I'd like to see you get him. Where are the pictures?
Frank, would you get him, please?
Yeah.
Where'd you meet this Bentley? Do you remember?
Well, I'm sort of the hostess at a place downtown over on 5th. Anyway, about 2-3 weeks ago, this schnook comes in, orders a couple of drinks, and he leaves. Next night, he's back again. Ooh, he was a cagey one. Didn't work too fast. Took about a week to make the pitch, then he asked me out to dinner. Well, he always seemed kind of nice, so I told him I'd go.
Mm-hmm. Here are the pictures, ma'am.
If you just take a look through them and see if there's one of Bentley in there.
Sure. Let me see. No. No. Hey, this one's kind of cute. What's he wanted for?
Oh, he works a casualty racket.
What's that?
Gets the names of people that have died, tells their families if they ordered some stuff.
What kind of stuff?
Oh, pen and pencil sets, watches, cheap things. Charges a lot of money for them. Most of the people figure that it's one of the last things their loved ones wanted, so they pay the prices. The stuff's worthless.
Lousy racket. Such a nice-looking guy, too. So honest.
Well, that's why it works.
Yeah, I suppose so. Well, let me see. No, this one's not him. Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's him. Ooh, what a nudnik.
Ma'am?
A nudnik, a real bum. But that's him, I'm sure of it.
Benson.
Yeah.
You mean you know this guy?
Yes, ma'am. Wonder if you tell us exactly what happened.
Well, sure, like I was telling you. This guy, Benson?
Yes, ma'am, that's right. Jonathan Benson.
Yeah, well, anyway, he asked me out to dinner. I told him I'd go. It looked like he was pretty well fixed. I figured it wouldn't do no harm. Well, see, I don't get off till 12:30, and there ain't many nice places open after that. But I said yeah, so he told me he'd pick me up. He got to the club about 10 o'clock. Said that he'd gotten through with whatever it was he was doing, that he came by to see if he could use my apartment to freshen up a bit. Freshen up a bit. Boy, what a way to heist the place. Oh, what a bum.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Well, I gave him the key to the place. He said that he'd stop at a drugstore and pick up a razor, shave, and wash his face, and then he'd be back to pick me up. The last I ever saw of him.
Uh-huh.
Walked off with a fur coat I had. Saved for 3 years for that coat. Cost me $900. And he took a ring worth about $150. Diamonds. Belonged to my mother. Sure hope you get him. Nail him good.
Yes, ma'am.
Ooh, what a nudnik.
We continued to question Betty Lindsay. She gave us the name of one of Benson's friends. We checked on him, and he gave us the name of a girl who knew the suspect. We talked to her, and she was able to give us Benson's address. It was a rooming house on Franklin Avenue in the Hollywood area. 6:47 p.m. Frank and I went up to his room.
Yeah, come on in. Should have kept my mouth shut. What do you guys want?
We want to talk to you downtown, Benson.
We aren't going to get on that merry-go-round again, are we? I'm getting tired of this whole deal. What are you guys trying to tire me this time?
We didn't have to do it, Benson. You took care of that yourself.
Is that right?
Yep, you made a mistake.
What is it this time? You figure I took some candy away from a blind
All right,
newsboy?
come on, Benson. Let's go.
You're going to arrest me this time, or am I going as a favor?
This time it's on us.
You mean we're playing for keeps now?
Yeah.
What's the charge?
Grand theft.
You're kidding.
Nope.
I really believe you're serious.
That's right. You called it.
Well, this is going to be interesting. If you can't prove this, I'm going to own City Hall, and the first thing I'm going to do is fire you two. You know that, don't you?
Well, we'll take that chance.
All right, but don't say I didn't warn you. You know, someday I'm going to write a book. Call it Some of My Best Friends Are Cops.
Yeah, you do that.
I will.
You'll have the time. We took the suspect downtown. We talked to him for over an hour, but he'd admit nothing. Without being able to produce the stolen articles, the case would be difficult to prosecute. We had Benson take everything out of his pockets. Among his personal effects, we found a key to a locker in the subway terminal. 2 men from Bunco Division took the key and went down to the terminal. They recovered a locked suitcase and brought it back to the squad room where we were questioning Benson.
How about it, Benson? This yours?
Never saw it before in my life.
It's locked. You got a key to this, Benson?
I told you it wasn't mine. What more can I say?
See those keys there, huh, Frank?
Yeah. Here.
All right.
I don't know what this is all going to prove. I told you the suitcase isn't mine.
Yeah, that figures. That's how come the keys fit, huh?
Cheap suitcase. A lot of the keys double.
Is that right?
Sure, lots of times I lost a key for one suitcase, used the key from another one to open it.
You ever find one of these in the case?
I never saw that fur coat in my life. Haven't got the slightest idea how it got there. I want to talk to a lawyer.
You're getting kind of jumpy, aren't you, Benson?
Sure, I don't mind admitting it. I told you I got no idea where that coat came from, but I know you guys aren't going to believe it. You're out to get me. You said so. You're going to try everything you can do with it.
You want to tell us about it now?
There ain't nothing to tell. I don't know nothing about it.
You don't ever give up, do you?
I don't know what you're talking about. I want to see a lawyer.
All right, we'll fix it so you can put that call in. We got the owner of this coat on the way down here. She's going to identify him, and that's all we need. Now, you just sit there and keep your mouth shut, will you?
I'll get it. Bunko, Smith. What's that? Oh, yeah, sure. Sure, I remember. What? You did, huh? Well, that's swell. Glad to hear it. Well, I wouldn't know. I'm not much of an authority, I guess. Her name's what? Yeah, it's a nice name. Well, I'll be glad to tell him. I'm sure he'll be pleased. Thanks very much for calling. When are you leaving? I see. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.
Anything?
Yeah, it's that kid from Texas, you know, that Thomas Conant.
Oh, yeah. You mean the cattleman?
Yeah, got an answer to his ad.
Is that right?
Yeah. Somebody called him up and he said that he made a real good deal for himself, and he's shipping her back to Texas.
Well, you mean he found a girl?
No, bought himself another Holstein.
The story you've just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On October 17th, trial was held in Department 87, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Quality throughout is what we try to put in every Dragnet show, and it's what Chesterfield gives you in every cigarette. It's the first premium quality cigarette in both regular and king size. And smoking 2 packs a day myself, I can tell you that they're milder with a real good taste. Chesterfield.
Jonathan Arthur Benson, alias Jack Bentley, was tried and convicted of grand theft. He received sentence as prescribed by law. Grand theft is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for not less than 1 nor more than 10 years. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Peggy Weber, Harry Bartell. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis show Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfield. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfield much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, make tomorrow your D-Day. Get an extra bond for defense. Step into any bank or post office and buy yourself a profitable share in America's future. As an investment, bonds are better than ever. They can help you save safely, conveniently, and profitably. So whether you already buy on the payroll savings plan where you work or the bond-a-month plan where you bank, get an extra bond for defense tomorrow.
Tonight, it's Adventure with Barry Craig on NBC.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield is best for you. first cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. A hold-up man has been hitting large supermarkets in your city. He's fast and is experienced. Your job? Get him. Tonight, I have a new report for you. A most important one, too. Because when you're asked to try a cigarette, you want to know, and you ought to know, what that cigarette has meant to people who smoke it all the time. After a full year of observation, a medical specialist who has given a group of Chesterfield smokers thorough examinations every 2 months for the full year reports no adverse effects to their nose, throat, or sinuses from smoking Chesterfield. More and more men and women all over the country are finding out every day that Chesterfield is best for them. Enjoy your smoking. Try Chesterfields today. They're best for you. Much milder, with an extraordinarily good taste.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, July 7th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Didion. My name's Friday. We were on the way out from the office, and it was 10:22 a.m. when we got to the corner of 67th Street and Jefferson Boulevard, Lamont Brothers Market.
Oh, I guess I should have been scared. The officer said he wanted the money. I gave it to him. I wasn't going to mess with it.
Mr. Haskins?
Yes, I'm Haskins. Who are you?
Police officer, sir. My name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
Friday and Smith. Oh, yeah. You're the fellows that was talking about, huh?
Sir?
Well, the other ones, the cops in the car. They said there'd be a couple of detectives here. Have you seen the other cops yet?
Yes, sir. We talked to them. They've already put out a call. What if we get some information from you?
Sure. You want to come back here to the office?
Yes, sir.
Back this way. We can talk there. Just sit down.
Mr. Haskins, if you just tell us what happened, please.
Well, it's pretty simple. I was sitting here getting the money ready for the bank, and this guy came in. He said he wanted the money. Had a gun, so I gave it to him. That's it. Nothing more. He just took the money and left.
Mm-hmm. And what time was it, sir?
Oh, around 8:30, 8:45.
How many men were there, sir?
Well, there was two. Two's all I saw. I don't think there was any more of them.
All right, sir. If you could just tell us exactly what happened.
Well, I told you they came in. They took the money.
I know, sir, but if you'd go into more detail.
Well, I came in about 7:30 this morning, like always. Checked things over the store to make sure that everything was okay. Then I started checking out the week's receipts.
Uh-huh.
Well, then, like I said, it must have been 8:45 or so, and heard this knock on the door. Thought there must be something wrong. The employees know not to bother me when I'm making up the deposit slips.
Yes, sir.
That's when I knew that something was wrong. Right away, I said to myself, Larry, there's something up. Something isn't good.
Yes, sir.
Oh, it was right. Went over to the door and unlocked it. There he was, this big fellow, stood there with a gun. The way his eyes lit up when he saw all that money laying on the desk.
You got any idea of how much money was taken, sir?
Well, it was about $6,000 cash. I guess another $1,500 in checks, more or less.
Uh-huh. I wonder if you'd give us a description of this man, could you?
Well, like I said, he was a big one, real mountain of a man, well over 6 feet. Had this gun, you know.
Uh-huh.
He stood there and said, "This is stick-up. I want that money." And he pointed at the money with his gun.
Oh, what kind of a gun was it? Could you tell?
That's a great question. Of course I could tell. He had it right under my nose. Shotgun, sawed off. Had the stock cut down, too. Looked like a horse pistol. When he handled that thing, I wasn't going to mess with him.
Uh-huh.
I told him, take the money. Take it and get out, not to shoot that thing off. He did. Walked right over to the desk and scooped up the money. He had a paper bag. He put it down by the table. He scooped the money into it. Then he said to me to stay put. Not to try to yell or be brave. Didn't have to tell me that. I wouldn't have tried anything.
You said there was another man, is that right?
Yes, I saw him when they left. He's a little fellow.
Mm-hmm. About how tall would you say?
Well, it'd be kind of hard to tell. I didn't get very close to him.
Well, was he armed, too?
Yeah, he was carrying a revolver.
They drive a car, would you know?
Well, if they did, I didn't see it.
You went out after them, then?
I should say not. With that one fellow waved that gun around, I stayed right here. He said to stay put, and that's just what I did.
What'd this big man look like?
Oh, a real mountain. He was 6'2" anyway. He must have weighed in at about 215.
Mm-hmm. How about his coloring?
It was dark. He had black hair. His eyes were dark. Not a brown. It was almost black. Real dark.
Mm-hmm. And when he spoke, did he have an accent, anything like that you might have noticed?
No, I don't think so. At least there was one. I didn't notice it. Mm-mm.
Did he have any scars or marks?
What?
Any scars or marks? Anything that might make it easier for us to identify him?
Yes, there was a little scar right here. Right over the bridge of his nose. Across here.
Mm-hmm. How about his clothes? What was he wearing?
Had a brown hat on, a brown jacket. Short kind of what you'd call that the real slick material, you know. Satin, like bowling teams wear.
Yes, sir.
Had on a pair of brown pants, brown shoes.
How was the other one dressed?
I couldn't tell you for sure. Like I said, I only saw him for a minute when I opened the door. He was out there telling the people to just mind their own business. Do that and they wouldn't get hurt. I didn't get a good look at him, but that big one, he was a real mountain.
Do you usually have this much money around in the store?
No, not usually. See, this was a long weekend. You know, the 4th was Friday, and whenever we have a long weekend, we usually have $10,000 or $12,000 in cash here. That's where the guys really goofed.
Sir?
Really missed the boat. You know, if they'd known what they were doing, they'd have gotten a lot more.
Well, how's that, sir?
The safe out in front. Another $7,000 out there. Guys missed it completely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure hope they don't come back for it.
11:05 a.m. Frank and I checked with the officers in the radio unit that had answered the call. They'd gotten out a broadcast on the bandits and then started a canvass of the neighborhood, but they didn't find anyone who could give them any information. One of the clerks was able to describe the smaller of the two suspects, and we got out a local and an APB on them. Then we took the market manager downtown to look at the mug books. He told us that the larger man had worn gloves all the time he was in the store, so there was no need to look for fingerprints. The market bandits had been operating for the past 8 months. In that time, they'd held up 17 stores. Their method of operation was always the same. They'd hit only after a weekend or on the Monday following a holiday weekend. They'd hit only the larger supermarkets of the ranch type. Their operations had taken them all over the Southland. We'd tried to stake the markets that might be hit, but their field of operations had been so wide that it was impossible. 2:15 p.m. The market manager, Larry Haskins, started on the 6th mug book.
Sure, a lot of them.
Yes, sir.
All these fellas. All committed some crime, huh?
Yes, sir, that's right.
That one there looks like my brother-in-law. He's got a weak chin. Yeah, just like him. No? Mm-mm. So a few of these, and they all begin to look alike. Did you ever notice that?
Yes, sir.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yes, sir?
This fella here. This one right here, you see?
Mm-hmm.
That's the fella, there's no doubt about it. That's the one.
The market manager had identified Bernard R. Hansen as one of the hold-up men. The other employees of the store were called in, and they identified the same picture as being the man who'd held them up. We checked on his record and found that he'd been convicted for armed robbery and had been sentenced to the state penitentiary. He'd also served 6.5 years and had been released. We got the last known address of the suspect. Frank and I checked it out and found that Hansen had moved some months before, but had left a phone number where he might be contacted. 6:30 p.m. Frank put in the call.
Yes, sir. That's right, sir. You sure about that, are you? I see. Well, if there's anything more you can think of, I'd appreciate a call. That's right, Michigan 5211. Extension 2511. Smith, that's right. Or if I'm not in, ask for Joe Friday. No, sir, Friday, like the day in the week. That's right. All right, thank you very much, Doctor. Goodbye.
Anything?
Yeah, I talked to Dr. Corby. The place is a rest home. Hansen's there as a patient. Been there for the past 4 months. Doctor says he's bedridden.
We We checked on the rest home. It was a private sanitarium in the valley. We got in touch with the medical authorities and found that the head of the hospital was listed as Dr. James Corby. Frank and I drove out and talked to Dr. Corby and the rest of the staff. From them, we got the story that Hanson had been a resident of the home for the past 4 months. We found that he had a lung ailment and was confined to his bed 24 hours a day. The doctor showed us his records and charts, and from what we could tell, it would have been impossible for Hanson to have been the bandit. 3 weeks passed. On August 4th, the market thieves hit again, this time out in East Los Angeles. They got away with a little over $9,000. The manager of the market came downtown and checked the mug books. They again identified Hanson as the thief. We had the stats office make another run on the M.O. used. The result came back, and out of the thousands of cards checked, only one fitted the way the robbery had been carried out, Hanson's. We called the rest home and found that on the day of the holdup, the suspect hadn't left his bed. Another month passed. During that time, we ran down all leads. Informants were questioned, but they could tell us nothing. Apparently, the holdup men were hitting and then dropping completely out of sight until they hit again. Monday, October 27th, 8:05 a.m. I checked in for work.
Joe?
Yeah. Did you just get in?
Yeah, a couple of minutes ago. Sure is a beautiful day, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you see Didion yet?
No. The way he talked yesterday, I don't want to.
Well, he's pretty hacked. I can't blame him too much. The guy sure seemed to have us stopped.
The thing I can't understand is that everybody's positive it's Hanson. Doesn't seem to be any doubt in their minds.
That doesn't make any sense. Did you get the kickback on the doctor?
Yeah, I came in late yesterday.
How about it?
Well, can't find anything on him. Family man, lives out in the valley, a couple of blocks from the hospital. Checked his bank account. He does pretty well, not great. No big deposits lately.
Did you check the AMA on him?
Yeah, he's not a member. They haven't got anything on him.
How about the rest of the staff out there?
Well, seems to be okay. 2 of the nurses have been there for over 2 years, and the male nurse was hired about 5 months ago.
That'll be just before Hanson got there.
Yeah.
Well, what's his record?
There isn't any. Not a thing on him in the files, nothing from Washington.
Well, I don't know. He seemed to come up out of the ground, pull the jobs, and then drop back in. Nothing on the partner?
No, thought I had something. Talked to an informant this morning while I had coffee. He thought at first that he knew who the little guy was, but then he remembered that the fellow he was thinking about died 2 years ago.
A hot shot, I'll get it. Well, let's go. I hit again. At 8:01 a.m. that morning, a pair of hold-up men had walked into a market out on Adams Boulevard and robbed the place of a little under $11,000. The manager gave us a description of the hold-up men. One was large, dark, and had a small scar over the bridge of his nose. The other was small, sandy-haired, and had no visible marks or scars. We showed the manager mugshots of Hanson, and he positively identified him as the larger of the 2 men. A local and an APB was gotten out on the pair, and then Frank and I drove out to the hospital to see Hanson. 8:46 a.m. We talked with Dr. Corby.
I know you men are trying to do your duty, but I've told you before it couldn't possibly be Mr. Hanson. I know for a fact that he hasn't been out of his bed this morning.
Was it possible for him to get out of his room without you knowing it?
No.
Wonder if we could see him, Doctor.
No, I don't think that'd be possible. He's still asleep, and I can't have him disturbed.
Now, you're sure, though, that he couldn't have left the hospital without you knowing it?
Absolutely. No chance of it.
What time does Hanson generally wake up, Doctor?
Depends. Usually, though, I'd say he's awake by 9:30 or so.
Wonder if we could wait and talk to him.
If you like. I'll tell one of the nurses to call you when he's awake.
All right, sir. That'd be fine.
One thing, though, I must insist on.
What's that, Doctor?
He mustn't be excited. I don't think you gentlemen really know how ill Mr. Hanson is. If you had any idea, you wouldn't be out here with this ridiculous questioning.
Yes, sir. We understand. We're just trying to get this thing straightened out as soon as we can.
Fine. I'll go along with you part of the way, but I'll not have my patient disturbed. Any excitement would be very bad for him.
Well, don't worry, Doctor. We'll be as brief as possible.
Fine. If you'll excuse me now, I've got some things to do. I'll tell the nurse to call you when he wakes up. And remember, no excitement.
What do you figure, Joe?
Well, it's got me. The way he talks, every one of those witnesses are wrong.
Yeah, it's happened before. Get a positive identification and end up with the wrong guy.
Yeah, but all of them are so positive, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You the police officer?
Yeah, that's right. Why?
I'm Bob Jameson. I work here.
Oh, yeah, you're the male nurse, that right?
Yeah. You're out here about Barney Hanson, aren't you?
We want to see him, yeah.
What can we do for you?
It's about Barney.
What about him?
I don't think things are the way they look.
What do you mean by that?
I wouldn't want the doctor to know I've been talking to you. He'd raise the roof, probably fire me.
Well, what's it about, Jameson?
Like I said, it's about Barney.
Yeah?
Well, when I came here, they told me that Barney was pretty sick. Said they didn't expect him to live.
Yeah.
One day the buzzer rang in his room. You know he wanted something?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the doctor was on the phone. The other nurses were busy. So I started down the hall to see what Barney wanted. Got to the door of the room, and the doctor stopped me.
Uh-huh.
Really read me off. Said that I wasn't to go into the room at all. That he was taking care of Barney personally, that he'd see what he wanted.
Yeah?
No, that was just the first time. Same things happened a couple more times. And he told us about you. Told us what to say if you asked any questions.
Well, what did he tell you?
Said that we wasn't to tell you anything. That we didn't know anything.
Well, why didn't you tell us all this before?
Well, you see, this isn't a regular hospital. I don't think that he's even a regular doctor. I've worked around hospitals for a long time, and I never saw no doctor act like he does. He doesn't even know how to write out a diet, feed some of the people here all the wrong things.
That right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you something else, too.
What's that?
I don't think there's anything wrong with Barney. I think the whole reason for him being here is phony.
Bob?
Oh, yes, Doctor.
What are you doing here?
Came to see if these gentlemen needed anything.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll take care of it now. Will you check on Mr. Hardy, please? See if he's awake yet.
Yeah, sure.
Just a minute.
What?
I'd like you to stay here for a minute. I'm afraid we're going to have to see Mr. Hanson right now, Doctor.
I'm afraid that's impossible. I told you before, I'm not going to have him disturbed.
I'm afraid we're going to have to disturb him. Won't take very long. Jameson, where's his room?
Oh, I'll show you. It's down this way.
I'm going to speak to your superiors about this, coming into a hospital and disturbing patients. I'm sure the fact that you're officers doesn't give you the right to do this.
This is his room.
You want to open the door? Well, how about it, Doctor?
Well, I don't understand it. He's got to be here. He can't get out of bed. I'm sure there's some explanation for his disappearance.
Yeah, maybe you can explain this, too. There's stuff here in his bed.
What is it, Joe?
A gun and some money.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action. Chesterfield Regular, Chesterfield King Size. The first cigarette to give you premium quality either way you like 'em. This means that King Size Chesterfield contains tobaccos of better quality and higher price than any other King Size cigarette. Chesterfield is first to name all its ingredients, ingredients that make the best possible smoke. And Chesterfield gives you this full year's scientific report. No adverse effects to the nose and throat of a group smoking only Chesterfields. So enjoy your smoking. Change to Chesterfield today. Much milder, with an extraordinarily good taste.
9:30 a.m. We called the office, and 2 more teams of men came out to help us search the place. Hanson was not on the grounds of the hospital. In his room, we found several floor plan drawings of markets that had been robbed. The drawings showed the location of the manager's office and of the safe. Along with the drawings, we found several maps with roads marked on them leading back to the hospital. A stakeout was placed on the rest home in the event that the suspect returned, and Frank and I drove the doctor back downtown. We talked to him for an hour before he finally told us the story. He said that Hanson had come to him and offered him money to say that he was ill and to give him a room. The doctor went on to say that after he got started, he tried to get out of the deal, but that Hanson said he'd get his family if the doctor said anything about his activities to the police. Dr. Corby gave us the name of Hanson's accomplice, Marty Peterson. He said that he didn't know where Peterson lived, but that he usually came out a couple of times a week to see Hanson. We notified the stakeout to be on the lookout for Peterson, and then we booked Dr. Corby at the main jail. We ran the name Marty Peterson through R&I, but we got no make. We sent the name to George Brereton up at CII in Sacramento, and also to Washington. The kickback gave Peterson a record of 2 arrests of robbery and 1 for ADW in the East. It also gave the name of a sister who lived in Los Angeles. We checked with her, and she was able to tell us where Peterson lived. Thursday, October 30th. Frank and I drove out to his apartment.
Who is it?
The manager.
Just a minute.
Yeah, what is it? You Marty Peterson?
Yeah, what do you want?
Police officers, you're under arrest.
Come on, come on. Get out of here, you lousy fun.
All right, come on, get up. You got no right to come in here and bother me. What's all this about?
Want to shake him?
Yeah, come on, get your hands up on that wall. He's carrying a gun, Joe. Here.
I got it.
What are you guys trying to prove? I didn't do nothing. You guys lean on everybody like this. Fella's got a record, and right away he's fair game for every crummy cop in the country.
Yeah, you bet. Come on, let's go.
Well, you still haven't told me what this is all about. What are you putting the pinch on me for?
Robbery.
Robbery? You're off your rocker. I'm out here on a vacation. I haven't done anything.
You're an ex-con with a gun. That's a felony. And where's Barney Hanson?
Who?
Barney Hanson. Where is he?
I don't know no Barney Hanson. Don't know what you're talking about.
All right, let's come off it, Peterson. Now, where is he?
Barney Hanson? Well, I might know who you're talking about. I know a fellow by that name, but he's out in a hospital in the valley. Haven't seen him for a long time in a hospital out in the valley.
Nice try, Peterson. Hanson checked out of the hospital. We got the doctor. He told us all about it. Now, where's Hanson?
I don't know. Last I heard of him, he's out at that hospital. If he ain't there now, I don't know where he is.
All right, let's go downtown.
That doctor copped out, huh?
Yeah. Filled us in on the whole setup.
How about the money?
Hmm?
You find the money?
No, we didn't find anything.
You didn't find any dough at all?
Not a bit.
The crumb, the lousy crumb. He told me to be safe out there. They'd never shake a hospital. Not a dime, huh?
No. Looks like he left you to stand for this. He probably took off with all the money. Probably never see him again.
Yeah, we ain't going to get away with it. No, sir, he ain't.
Looks like he will.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you where he is.
We took Marty Hanson down to the city hall, and he was booked at the main jail. Before he was booked, he gave us the name and address of Hanson's girlfriend. Frank and I drove over and talked to her. She told us that she hadn't seen the suspect for several weeks. She said that she'd heard that Hanson had been running around with another girl. She also told us that she'd heard Hanson had bought a new car and was running around with a new bunch of friends. She said that she hadn't seen him since he got the new car, but that she'd heard it was a new Oldsmobile, and it was painted a fire engine red. We called the office and arranged for a stakeout on her apartment, and then we began to check out the Oldsmobile dealers in the Los Angeles area. 2 teams of men were assigned to help us in running down the list. It took us 2 days to talk to the dealers in town. Each of the dealers was shown a mugshot of Hanson. 2 days went by. Finally, we got an identification. A dealer out on Franklin in Hollywood reported that he'd sold a car to Hanson. However, when we checked the address he gave us, we found that Hanson had moved a week before and left no forwarding address. We got in touch with the Department of Motor Vehicles, and from them we got the address where they'd sent the pink slip. It was an apartment house out on Highland Avenue. Frank and I went out to check it out.
Yes?
Bernard Hanson in?
No, he isn't. Something you wanted?
You expecting him?
I don't know. I haven't seen him this morning. I just got here myself.
Wonder if we could talk to you.
Who are you?
Police officers. My name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
How do you do? I'm Lily Edwards. Come on in.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Get you anything? Cup of coffee? Anything?
No, thanks. When'd you last see Hanson?
Last night. We got a date at 2:30 this afternoon. What time is it now?
Well, it's 2:37, ma'am.
Late. He'll be along in a minute. What do you want to see him about? Done something?
Better if we could talk to him.
Personal, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
He's a wild one, old Barney. Him and that red car. Real wild.
Ma'am?
That car he drives. You know, it's a red Olds. He's like a kid with it, always wiping it off, taking care of it. I think he'd bring it up here at night if he could. Never seen anything like it.
Mm-hmm. How long you known Hanson, Miss Edwards?
Not long. A couple of weeks, I guess. Not much more than that.
Where'd you meet him?
Well, I hope you won't get the wrong idea, but...
Ma'am?
Well, I live down on Vine Street, below Fountain, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I usually have morning coffee at the drugstore. The big one on Vine.
Yeah.
Well, one morning Barney comes in. I guess it's about 9, somewhere around there. He plunks down on a stool next to mine. Then he takes out a package of cigarettes and starts to light one. He's shaking so much he can hardly hold the match up to the cigarette. Oh, I got to laughing because I thought he was hung over. Anyways, we got to talking, and the next thing I knew, he asked me out to lunch.
Uh-huh.
Well, I knew it wasn't proper, but I figured, well, he seemed like a nice guy, so I told him that I'd meet him. We had lunch that day, and we sort of been going together since.
I see. Hanson ever told you what he did for a living?
No. I asked him a couple of times, but he wouldn't say anything right to the point. He'd, kind of hedge around the bush. So I figured that he didn't want to tell me, and I stopped asking. He was always nice to me. No need for me to pry into his personal affairs. What time you got now?
It's 2:40, ma'am.
Can't understand it. He's usually so prompt. I hope nothing happened to him. He said sure to meet him at 2:30. Or was it 3:30? I don't remember too well. Never sure about times or dates, things like that, you know.
Yes, ma'am. You ever met a man named Peterson, Marty Peterson?
Marty Peterson? Yeah, I've met him. Little guy.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, he's a friend of Barney's. They're in some sort of business together. I don't know just what it is, but I know that they're associated in some way.
Hanson's never said anything about this business to you, has he?
No. Like I said, he's very close-mouthed about what he does.
You ever mention a Dr. Corby to you?
Corby? No, I don't think I've ever heard that name before.
Would you know how long Hanson's lived here?
No, I think he moved in just before I met him. I don't think he's been here very long. Say, what are all these questions about? I hope I haven't said anything to get Barney in trouble. He's such a nice guy. I sure wouldn't want to do that.
No, ma'am. You haven't done that.
Hi, Lily.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Police officers, you're under arrest, Hanson.
For what?
Suspicion of robbery. I'll shake him, Joe.
Now, wait a minute. What is this, a shakedown? What are you guys trying to prove? You got nothing on me. I fell once. I did my time. I owe you nothing.
He's clean, Joe.
Why'd you do that? I'm not giving you any trouble. I got no reason. You got nothing on me. I got nothing to worry about. I'll go with you. There's no reason not to.
You mean what these guys say is true? You've been mixed up in some robbery?
Oh, knock it off.
What do you mean, knock it off? Don't you talk to me like that. I'm not going to take talk like that from you.
Like I said, knock it off.
All right, come on, let's go.
You really figure you got me for a 211, huh?
Yeah, we got the rest of them, too.
Peterson and the doc?
That's right.
I suppose they talked, huh?
Yeah, they told us all about it.
Sweet racket. Should have known it could only last so long. Should have figured that the longer I played against the house, the shorter my chances were.
It is true, and you never told me. All this time, and you never told me you were a crook. Of all the rotten deals...
Shut up, will you? Always shooting off your big mouth.
Listen, Barney Hanson, I told you before, don't you talk to me like that. I won't take it.
You haven't got much choice now, have you, Lily? You know something, cop?
What's that?
Might be kind of pleasure to get into a nice, quiet jail. Get away from this dumb broad. She's the dumbest broad in the entire United States and Canada. Real pretty, but boy, she's stupid.
Now, I told you, Barney Hanson, I'm not going to have you talk to me like that.
Kid's a real shrew. Young, but she's a real shrew. Let's go. Glad to get away from her.
All right, Barney Hanson, that does it. I'm through with you. I've had it. It's going to be a long time before I even talk to you. A long time.
Yeah, well, you're right about that. Let's go.
The story you have just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On February 4th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Earlier tonight, George Fenneman gave you what I consider pretty strong evidence that Chesterfield is the cigarette you ought to be smoking. That's why I'd like you to try a pack of Chesterfields. I think you'll find they give you everything you want. A real good taste and Chesterfield mildness.
Bernard R. Hansen and Martin S. Peterson were tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree. They were filed on for 10 counts and received sentences as prescribed by law. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of from 5 years to life. Dr. James Corby was allowed to plead guilty to a lesser charge and was sentenced to 1 year in the county jail and placed on probation for 10 years. One of the terms of his probation being that he is not permitted to operate a rest home. Just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Vic Rodman, Herb Ellis. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis Show, Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfields. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the fight against an old enemy, polio, medical research has armed us with a powerful new weapon, gamma globulin. Used soon enough, it can prevent the paralyzing effects of polio. But first, you must furnish the raw material, blood. Doctors urgently need your donation of blood to make gamma globulin. So call the Red Cross. Please don't put it off. It's too important. Call the Red Cross tomorrow and make an appointment to give blood.
Tonight, it's Adventure with Barry Craig on NBC.